Hi and welcome to Last Watch. It's a really bright sunny day here in Scotland, so I thought it'd be quite appropriate to look at this watch. This is the Citizen Promasters Diver's Watch, reference BN0150-28E. It's a quartz watch, which you can tell from the tag, E168, and it retails normally for about £249. I didn't pay anywhere near that. I paid £160 for the watch. You will pick it up if you shop around on the rubber bracelet for £160 quite easily. It came in a cardboard box. Inside the cardboard box there was this cardboard tube and a cardboard cushion, if you can call it a cushion. The watch comes with quite a substantial manual, various languages. It's pretty straightforward, and it comes phenomenally with a 5-year guarantee, which if you go online you can extend that for another year, giving you 6 years. Now 6 years on a watch is phenomenal, I think, so you should have 6 years of pretty pain-free watch ownership. Now this watch, the reason I've picked it out today, is a solar powered watch. It's part of the Eco Drive range. This is Citizen's attempt to try and save the environment by having solar powered watches. Under the dial of this watch is a solar cell which charges an internal battery. That battery, once fully charged, should last 6 months. So provided this watch gets a couple of days sunshine throughout a 12-month period, it should run continuously. Obviously, if you don't need to replace a battery on a watch, that's a mountain of batteries that will never need to be made. The other option, of course, is to get a mechanical watch, but for today anyway, we're looking at this quartz watch. If by some chance this watch doesn't get charged, the battery has an indicator which shows on the second hand, which will tick every 2 seconds. This will probably give you a couple of days notice that the battery should be put out in the sun, or at least in front of a light of some description, in order to charge the cell that's inside. So before I get into the watch, I just want to discuss a few things with you. First of all, the strap that came on the watch wasn't this strap here, was indeed this strap. I wore this watch on this strap for about 4 weeks. It's very comfortable. It's a rubber stroke polyurethane. As you can see, it has the decompression times, harking back to its use as a diver's watch. The watch has nicely broken up holes here for aeration, but also for moisture and evaporation and sweat to allow the strap to breathe. On the other side of the watch, we have a texture material, so it is quite grippy. As I say, I enjoyed wearing the watch on this strap, but it made strange noises occasionally. I wasn't sure what was causing that. It all became clear when I came to remove it from the watch. As you can tell there, the strap is a was a very, very tight fit between the lugs of this watch. I took this strap off. It took some doing to get it off, and after taking it off, if we just focus up here, you'll see that there's a metal barrel on the inside of the strap, and what was causing the noise was the spring bar of the watch moving around in here, so it would squeak while it was on the wrist. And occasionally, if I was sat at a desk, that spring bar moving up against that collar would make a crunching sound, which was quite disconcerting. So anyway, I took it off and I replaced it with this Watch Gecko honey coloured leather strap, which we'll get into in a minute. I should point out this strap also has a bit of a flexible option on the end here, which allows you to dive, which will take up any compression as you go deeper, hopefully keeping the watch nice and tight on your wrist. And the other end of it, again, fairly plain, simple, same design throughout. You know, for 20 quid, I think if you bought this separately, it would be 20 quid. It's not bad going. This watch is available on a metal strap. I looked into purchasing the metal strap after I bought the watch. I was quoted £140, which was crazy, especially if you consider that if you buy this watch on the metal strap, you can get it for about £210. So if you want this watch on a metal strap, buy it on the strap. Do not buy it on the rubber strap, because, as I say, the rubber strap will set you back 20 quid if you decide you want it after your purchase. So this strap was bought from Watch Gecko. I bought the strap, well, actually I didn't buy it, my wife bought the strap for me, with a little bit of help from me. But I selected it because, first of all, I like the colour of it, quite like the accents on it. The keepers and the buckle are brush metal, which tie in quite nicely with the brush metal of the watch. And they give it a bit more of a sophisticated look. I actually think it kind of gives it a bit of a steampunk look, especially on the wrist. So yeah, worthwhile definitely changing out the strap. Changing the strap really does change a watch. And again, this was moderately priced. I think it was about £20. It was quite stiff when you first take it out the packet, but as the leather warms up, it's really comfortable on the wrist. It was definitely worth buying it. Right, so getting into the watch, it is a black dialed watch. This watch also comes in a very nice blue, but given that it was my first watch purchase in some time, I decided to play safe and be quite conservative and go for the black. So just looking at the dial of the watch, you can see that it has applied indices with painted lume. The applied indices have chrome borders around them. If you notice at the 12, the 3, the 6 and the 9, they also have added indents. There's the Citizen logo at the 12 o'clock position, and then just above the 6 o'clock position is the Eco Drive marker with the diver's 200 meter rating. It also has a date at the 4 o'clock position. Looking at the handset, we have a very clear white arrow hand, a minute hand which is bordered with a nice orange to make it stand out, which is apparently very useful for diving. And then we have the hour hand, which, depending on how you catch the light, looks like it has a black border, but it would appear to be a chrome. The bezel of the watch is a nice 60 click bezel. There's no back play on it. Comes quite neatly back to the 12 o'clock. You can see it has markers, numeral markers at the 10, 20, 30, 40 and 50, but a lume pip at the 12 o'clock position, and it has minute markers all the way around the dial. I'm guessing that's an aluminium insert. And this is the lume shot, which is kind of a bluey green. Now I've monitored this lume overnight. I've gone to bed and I've woke up 6 hours later and it's still been fairly bright. So no complaints in that regard. And you can see that the pip at the 12 o'clock position is a slightly more green compared to the blue of the indices and the hands. So just going back to the dial, you can see that there are second markers broken up every 5 seconds. And if you look very closely, hopefully we'll be able to see that on the macro, it tells you that there is a Japanese E168 quartz movement, and I'm guessing the other numbers apply to the variant of that. The bezel, if you notice, has an uncontinuous kind of cog that runs around it, which makes it quite easy to grip. So overall, quite a bold, attractive watch. Moving on from that, we have a screw down crown at the 4 o'clock position, which has a logo of sorts. Not entirely sure what that is meant to represent. Something I'll need to look into. Depending how you look at it, it's either an arrow or a couple of arrows in different directions, or it could be a C for citizen, depending on how you read it. It has a completely flat mineral crystal. On the back of the watch, it's a screw down back. It is laser etched with the Citizen Eco Drive World Atlas. There's also details of the certification of this watch, which is a fully certified ISO diver's watch, rated down to 200 meters, and it also gives its anti-magnetism qualities. The weight of the watch, albeit not on its original strap, comes in at 96.69, so just under 97 grams. It has a thickness of 11.5 millimeters, a diameter of 44 millimeters, a lug width of bang on 20 millimeters, and a lug to lug of 49.2 millimeters. And this is the watch on my medium size 7 1/4 inch wrist. It's a very good fit. I probably couldn't go much larger than this. But as you can tell, the lugs are quite short on the wrist, which makes it very easy to wear. And the strap ties in very, very nicely with the brushed metal case of the watch. Now, I think this watch is perfect for several reasons. I think I'll title this video The Priceless Citizen. So why is it priceless? Well, it's a quartz watch. It never loses any time. It's not a second faster or a second slower than when I set it 2.5 months ago. The solar facility on this watch means that it will never need a fresh battery. Hopefully it will just charge itself as I wear it, so I can leave this watch for a few weeks on an end. I can leave it on the bedside cabinet. I can pick this watch up after a month and it'll still run. I can throw it on the wrist. It is literally a grab and go watch. No complaints with that. But more importantly, the reason I like this watch so much was it was a gift from my wife. So for that alone, it's a keeper. It was going to be my beta watch as it was a present from the other half. I don't think that will be the case, which is fantastic because it gives me an excuse to buy another watch. Well, thank you for watching the video. This is the first video from Last Watch. Hopefully not my last video. Be sure to like it, subscribe, and keep an eye out for my future videos.